Knitters have come up with countless ways to get the first set of stitches on the needles. It's always amazing to discover yet another type of cast on. Some of them are more elaborate and rather complicated, but the one that I'm going to share with you in this tutorial is quite simple and quite beautiful. This cast on is often done in two colors to get that nice contrasting color edge, and it looks as if each stitch is wrapped with this contrasting color, which is quite nice. To make this cast on, take yarn in two colors and align two strands like this. Then make a simple slip knot and leave a small tail. We don't have to worry about the length of the tail here. Just like this. Then take the needles, both of them, align them and place the slip knot on two needles. By using two needles, we first make the edge quite loose, and that means that the first row is going to be quite pleasant to knit, especially if you're a tight knitter. And another reason is by having a loose edge, we would highlight those wraps. So the wraps would be looser and they will be more popping out, which is nice, right? So now that we have this set up, place the yarn that you plan to use for the border for those wraps, the contrasting color, place it on your left thumb. And the other yarn, the one that's going to be the main color used for the stitches, place it on the left index finger. And then hold the both strands with the rest of the left finger. So the setup is exactly the same as the long tail cast on. Basically, it is a variation of a long tail cast on. The only difference is we use two colors, we use two needles, and we don't worry about the length of the tail, which is quite nice. So now that we have it all set up, insert the needles, both of them, under the strand that is at the front of the thumb and into that loop. Same way as we do in the long tail cast on. Then pick the main color strand, pull it through the loop, let go of the loop and pull it to tighten the stitch, but don't make it too tight. Remember that for best look we need to have those wraps a bit loose, so don't pull it too tight. And that's it. That's how we make a stitch. The slip knot that we made is a temporary one, so we're gonna unravel it later on. That's why we don't count it as a stitch. The first stitch that we made is right here. It's not the slip knot. Let's make another stitch, and this time I'll show it in a slow motion. Just like this. Now repeat the same motions, the same actions to cast on more stitches. Go into the loop, then pick the yarn, pull it tight but not too tight. Go into the loop, pick the yarn, finish the stitch. Into the loop, pick the yarn, finish the stitch. And keep going until you have as many stitches as you need for the project. Now take one of the needles out when you're ready to work the row, when you have as many stitches as you need, and turn your work. And the first thing that you probably notice right away would be that the cast on is not reversible. If you both sides look nice, but if you like this side better, and this is the side that I showed you on this swatch, if you like to get the same look, then start with the wrong side row, or just purl all stitches for one row and count it as a setup row. And that's what I'm gonna do. So bring the yarn to the front and purl all stitches until you get to the slip knot. That's not a stitch, remember? And here we are. Now I've got to the slip knot and I simply let it go. I let it go and I pull the tail to unravel it. That's it. Turn your work The cast on is done. If you don't plan to use the contrasting color yarn in your work anymore, then simply cut it, just like this, and leave a tail that is long enough to weave in. When it's time to weave in tails, simply hide these two tails along with the rest of the tails, and you will have a nice neat edge, just like this one. And that's how we cast on stitches using the simple 2-color cast on. To download this tutorial as a set of step-by-step photo instructions, follow the link in the description. Thank you for watching this video and have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Thursday.